Welcome once again to an old man and his vlog. It's me, Dave. I'm here again, this time with another piece of physical media, this time with a compact double disc. And it's a film soundtrack. So if you're watching this video, this is the third entry of my first series for an old man and his vlog. These are all off the cuff, people. There is no script, there's no preparation. I just take something off of my shelf. I kind of hold it in front of the camera in different angles, open it and close it, talk about it. So I went to the Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington, which is a public four-year college. It's known as being a college that has no grades, no real tests, no real requirements. It's a very counterculture school where the student body is known to take a lot of drugs, get naked a lot, do a lot of really outlandish things in public and get away with it because they're in this little college in the woods. In Olympia, Washington, while I was at college, I was somewhat involved with the Olympia Film Society, which is I guess it's a nonprofit film group which runs a classic movie theater in downtown Olympia on 4th Avenue called the Capitol Theater. And they showed a documentary called The Filth and the Fury, which was new at the time, about the Sex Pistols. The very divisive, the infamous, the famous, the very first punk band in the whole world, or this rip-off punk band that ripped off the Ramones, or the Ramones also fucking suck and everybody ripped off somebody that only a few people heard about 5, 10, 15 years earlier. Who cares? Who cares? If you like the Sex Pistols, you like the Sex Pistols. If you don't, you don't. It's hard to argue that they're not historically significant in music history, if not punk rock history, if not counterculture history. They're from the UK. Now, this movie, I also recommend, The Filth and the Fury, was pretty good because it had good interviews and it put the brief and impactful career of the Sex Pistols in the context of things like, the garbage strike that was going on in, what was it, London, or was it the whole UK? Probably just London. I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't do any preparation for this thing, but basically, like, a lot of people were just living some not great lives, and this was like the angry voice that this fashion producer thought the younger generations needed. And so they put together this band. Their bass player could barely play. They wore ripped up clothes. They didn't really sing. They were very aggressive and loud. They had some really great songs. Okay, they had some really great, witty, offensive on purpose songs that were intended to, really piss people off and create attention for themselves and really get people to think in different ways. And some of those songs are on this soundtrack. The interesting thing is that because the movie is an art history movie, it puts their music in context of the times. So there's some other fun songs on this double disc that are not Sex Pistols songs, but they are from that era. So basically, the first album, the first disc on here is a lot of non-Sex Pistols songs, and the second is mostly Sex Pistols songs. So the first one, it starts off with "God Save the Queen," a classic Sex Pistols song in which they call the Queen of England a fascist and talk shit about tourists and all these great things, which are truth, half truths, or controversial statements depending on your perspective. And it's a catchy song. Motorhead covered it at almost all of their live shows. It's a classic song. It's a classically offensive song that probably has lost more of its bite than some of the other songs that I might talk about later. Then you have the song "Shang-A-Lang" by the Bay City Rollers, who were, a boy band of the time. The Sex Pistols arguably were also a boy band, but it's just kind of a fun juxtaposition there. Then you have songs by The Who, Roxy Music, Alice Cooper, David Bowie, got another Alice Cooper song. And then you have some more Sex Pistols songs at the end. Some of the ones from their big album, like Submission, and then some of the ones that are more kind of popular in the B-sides and other albums like Roadrunner. Then in the second CD you got all your classics, Anarchy in the UK, No Fun, which is actually the Sex Pistols covering a Iggy and the Stooges song, which is prominent. It might have been like the last song their original lineup played on their tour in the USA, which might have been their last official gig before they came back for their cash grabs and whatnot. But in the movie, there's some good footage of the band playing "No Fun" by Iggy and the Stooges. A lot of people might say that Iggy and the Stooges were the first punk bands, and then a lot of people would say that Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground really, if they weren't around, maybe there would have never been a punk. Who cares? If you like the Sex Pistols, you like the Sex Pistols. If you like this era of music, this is a pretty good little document, pretty good little double disc. There's a New York Dolls song in here. I heard Glenn Danzig, another controversial, divisive figure, say that the New York Dolls were really the first punk band. None of this really matters. It's just debate for no reason. Oh, there's a John Lydon quote in the liner notes, and then there's just quotes from the movie, which I think is a pretty cool way to do the liner notes for this, rather than making like a whole nother essay. You just go watch the movie. The movie's the essay. It's interesting. The first quote is like, trashing the Labor Party. And a funny thing about, these early punk rock people is a lot of them have come out as like libertarian types, like Mo Tucker was a Tea Party member, the drummer from the Velvet Underground, and, Johnny Rotten said all kinds of stupid shit and said something that enough people took as like a pro or like open to Trump statement, that a lot of people have nothing to do with this band anymore. But I think it's a decent little trip down memory lane, and the movie's probably better than the soundtrack, but because the movie was good, they put a good soundtrack on it, and it's worth listening to. I bought it for 108 Japanese yen used, and when I don't want to be streaming, when I don't want to be on the internet watching vlogs on YouTube and stuff like that, I'll just shut things off and I'll put an actual digital compact disc on my CD player in my car or in my office, and I'll listen to it. And this is an okay one for a road trip. It's quick songs, predictable songs, catchy songs, songs maybe a handful of songs you don't know. It's quick, it's fun, it's nostalgic. It has the song Bodies on it, which is, in my mind, the ultimate Sex Pistols song. And I just gave you a preview that I'm just recording this thing on my phone. That's on my computer. But Bodies, it's like this song that's so vulgar and so crass, and I think the world kind of needs it now in a way. Certainly, if you're concerned about being triggered, you probably wouldn't want to listen to it. So you got to use it responsibly. But it's a song that's just vulgar. It's about abortion. It's sarcastically, humorously about abortion. And you wouldn't believe it if you've never heard this song, and it's the year 2023 right now. If you've never heard the Sex Pistols song "Bodies," take a listen to the words they're saying, and tell me any song that's like by this level of legendary band that comes anywhere close to this. It's a thing. They kind of made this song that's like a fuck you to the world, and they really hit that ball out of the park with the song Bodies. I'm not saying it's for everyone. I'm not saying that what they're saying means anything, and if it does mean something, and if it's used negatively, of course that's pretty fucked up. But give it a listen. Uh, if you've never heard that, if you only know of Anarchy in the UK or whatever, just give the song Bodies a listen. It's on this album. It's like the next to last song right before No Fun. So those last two songs, the great Sex Pistols offensive song, and then the legendary Iggy Pop song at the end, is a nice way to end the album. It's a good CD. I'm sure you can get it on vinyl if you love the sound of vinyl. If you're sure that the vinyl is better than CD, and you'd like to listen to physical media. If you're even more of a physical dinosaur than this old man and his vlog is, then tell me to shut the fuck up. Go buy the vinyl, and fucking sip an absinthe to it or something. All right, see you later. Thanks.